I'm walking along Marylebone Road in London towards Baker Street tube station. I'm going to do a challenge walk in London. I'm going to take the Jubilee line to London Bridge from Baker Street. And I'm entering an event called the Capital Challenge, which is organised by the London group from the Long Distance Walkers Association. The Long Distance Walkers Association is an organisation that furthers the interests of people who walk long distances. A long distance is defined as anything that's 20 miles or more, but it doesn't have to be done in one go. You could do what I'm doing today, which is to walk a 27-mile walk in one day, or you could do several short walks over many days, like a long distance path. That's long distance walking. There are 43 local groups in the Long Distance Walkers Association, and the London group is just one of them. And every year they put a great event on called the Capital Challenge. It's an urban walk, but it takes you around parts of London that most people don't know about if you're not from the city. It's a great route. The route that I'm following today, the Capital Challenge route, is a really interesting route, and I'm going to be exploring East and South London. Hope you enjoy my journey, and looking forward to seeing some really interesting places off the beaten track in our capital city. And just like that, we're off. Very informal and very relaxed checking in process. Maybe about half a dozen of us there. It's a rolling start, so people could have started from 7:40. Anyway, heading now towards Tower Bridge. For the next few miles, I'm going to be walking through the old docks area of London. It's all been redeveloped now, but the history is interesting. In the early 19th century, most of the goods that came into London went to London Pool, which is an area upriver from the Tower of London. Then, as more and more goods were imported and London became the busiest port in the world, the area downriver from the Tower of London was developed, and that's the area I'm walking through now. And at its peak, it employed hundreds of thousands of men who were offloading the goods from the ships. In the 1960s, containerisation became the way forward for shipping around the world, and Tilbury docks, even further down the river, became more important, and this area fell into decay. It's now been developed since the 1980s, and it really is a very interesting place to come and visit. This is Shadwell Basin, one of the flooded docks. I'm going to walk clockwise around it, and according to the route description, exit onto Glamis Road. Well, I'm now approaching Canary Wharf, and 1 Canada Square is the address of the second tallest building in the UK. This whole area is now the centre, or the financial centre of the UK, but many years ago it was the site of the East India Docks. Well, it's not too often you get a route description telling you to go through a building, pass through to reach Footbridge. Interestingly, this is part of the huge Millwall docks. And an interesting fun fact about this is that when it was excavated, all the mud was piled up into an area that became known as Mud Chute. It became reclaimed land essentially. And the first ever football ground of Millwall Football Club was on this Mud Chute. Visiting players used to complain that when they fell over on the pitch and got themselves muddy, the mud would stink on their legs for days and days and days afterwards. Anyway, that's not the case with Millwall's new football ground, but it's an interesting fun fact. So this is the inside of the Greenwich Foot Tunnel, built in 1901 to replace an unreliable and expensive ferry in order to get workers across from the south side of the river to the Isle of Dogs, where all the work was. And when I get to the end, I've got to take the stairs. I mustn't use the elevator or I'll be disqualified. Cutty Sark. In the 1870s, that was the world's fastest tea clipper, making the journey from China to the UK in 107 days. The Thames Barrier. Thames Barrier was built as a result of devastating floods in 1953, which saw the sea levels rise by 5 metres, devastating the east end of London and the docks. Several hundred people also died. The barrier became operational in 1982, and it's the second largest moving barrier in the world, the largest being in Holland. It was designed to last until at least 2050, but with climate change, there's discussions now that work is needed on it to raise it even further. London is one of the greenest cities in the world. It may also be one of the busiest, but there are lots of parks and over 8 million trees. I'm now following the Green Chain Walk, which links many of the green spaces throughout London, and it's about 40 miles long. And we're going to be following this route for some time in conjunction with the Capital Ring Walk, which will be joining it at times as well. That's rather special, isn't it? Charlton House. And Charlton House is a house that was built in 1612 and is one of the finest examples of Jacobean architecture in the United Kingdom. And that is why I love this route. It brings you along to little gems like this that me, as a non-Londoner, I probably wouldn't have come here under normal circumstances. Fantastic. We're now in Shooters Hill, and my route description tells me to continue to ascend Shooters Hill on woodland paths. This is Seven Droog Castle. I've now done 14 miles of this 27-mile route. It's not a castle, it was actually built as a folly. It was built in 1784, I think, for Sir William Price, who was a military commander for the East India Company. I've caught up with my buddies, Julian and Liam.
Hey, hello.
So we're in Elton Park at the moment. I think we'll walk together until the next checkpoint, which is in about 3 miles' time. That's Elton Palace behind me, and that was built between the 14th and 16th centuries. It's a moated house and fell into disrepair after Henry VIII passed away. The central hall is the only medieval part of it to survive. It's rather impressive, but you have to pay to go in, so we can't go in and have a good mooch about. Very close now to 20 miles and the third checkpoint of the route. I'm not showing the other checkpoints, but this is an inside checkpoint, and it's at St. Edward the Confessor's Church. So St. Edward is the only king or queen in England to have been canonised. He kept a vow of celibacy, which meant a slight issue for the continuation of his family, and there were 2 claims on the throne. One, a chap called Harold, and the other one William of Normandy. Well, 1066 and all that, and we know where that all went. So look who's here.
Hello.
So Jill's got a foot injury. She's been resting it, so she's going to walk the last 7 miles with me from checkpoint 3 to the finish.
Keep ahead following GCW signs. After 100 yards, bear left to reach wide cross path.
Whilst the first half of the walk was through the old docklands and along the Thames down to the Thames Barrier, the second half of the walk is definitely more suburban, although this green chain walk is threading us through the suburbs in a very rural way. But now we're walking past some fine houses in southern London. Walking through a lovely park called Beckenham Place Park. Apparently at 1 square kilometre it's the largest park in southeast London. There's plenty of space here. That's Beckenham Place Mansion at the heart of this park. Fabulous. Now here's a rare sight. Don't see these very often. If you ever even noticed the ciphers on a post box, if you can see that, that's an Edward VIII, the king who abdicated, and there's not many of those in the UK. 25.5 miles now, so just about 1.5 miles to go, and we're soon to enter the South London suburb of Penge. Now, a group of artists came together and decided to set up a system where they called it anything is better than a brick wall. Well, I guess that's true, especially if you're a very good artist, because apparently we're going to see lots of murals in the Penge area as we walk through it, because we've got a brick wall and you've got the permission of the homeowner. Why not paint it? Coming to the end now of my capital challenge, about 1/2 mile to go to Annerley, where the walk finishes. Really enjoyed it again, taking me to parts of London that I wouldn't ordinarily go to, seeing sights that most touristic visitors would not see on their visit to London. It's not everyone's cup of tea, of course, an urban walk, but we enjoy it, and I've certainly enjoyed it today. But of course this event can't go ahead without volunteers, and those volunteers in the Long Distance Walkers Association London group have done a great job. They've run the checkpoints, they staff the start, and they'll be staffing the finish as well. And if it wasn't for the volunteers, this event could not go ahead. So thank you to them. Thank you also to the London group for providing all of the historical information. If you thought that I knew all that, well, I'm touched, but no, I've been using the London information provided, and it's been really interesting. So with all my videos, just like to thank you if you've got this far, and see you on the next one. Thanks ever so much.